Hello Linux gamers, welcome back to another live stream video. Tonight is practice day 24 for low fuel motorsports license, and I'm hoping that it is the same track as before because every 6 months they do change the track. So let's go to low fuel motorsports and check. Till then I will start all the applications needed to get telemetry running. Oh, so they have changed the track and now it is Zolder and I have to do it under 1 minute 32 seconds. So this is going to be a new track instead of Hungaroring and the Barcelona track. Now it is Zolder. So I've been practicing since the time it was Hungaroring and now it is Zolder. So we are going to practice on Zolder tonight. All right, so tonight what I have here is a lot of new changes. First, I have the C12, which now have the QR, which is like an aftermarket quick release from AliExpress, which I have converted to connect it to the wheel. So instead of removing 6 screws on the wheel and changing it every time I play like I play a truck sim, so I change it to 350 mm wheel or a round wheel for normal car racing like MX5 race, and then GT race, GT wheel for GT race. So just I have to connect like this, press it, and then rotate the knob at the back, which is little difficult when the wheel is so close to the hub, but it is fine. But for this wheel, and then you can hear the click. Once it is clicked in place, it is locked. There is slight, very minute play in this, but if you lock it properly, then it doesn't really have much play and it doesn't really affect the gameplay. So another thing I have tonight is the bass shaker. So I have a bass shaker device here, which I will be using. And yeah, so bass shaker device I have here. Then I have the telemetry for this. I do have another device which is 10-inch dashboard. Though I will not be showing it tonight as I'm still testing it out. So because I had removed the configuration of base shakers, I will add it back. Now that is ready, let's do another setting, which is launch the game with the required settings, which is already defined. I have crew chief configured as well. So now we are ready to start. I will do some practice laps on this track and then move to. I've driven on Zolder only once before, so this is again completely new track for me, and I will have to do a lot of track guides. Tonight we also have a new camera where you can see my pedals. These are SimRuito pedals, and I hope they are clear enough. So this is the new camera angle. Let's start the session and see how well it goes. Everything looks good. Let's look at the setup. I will go launch or load my setup. Where is this? The setup is not for this track. So I will use the aggressive setup. Let's go for a drive. Let's do some practice laps and see how well it goes.
The track temp is 31. The air temp is 28 Celsius.
So here I seem to have a problem with my base shaker control. All right. So I have everything ready now.
Green light. Go, go, go.
The track temp is, looks like you're clear on the pit exit. Your brakes are cold, be careful. Yellow flag.
Let me just change the power settings of the wheel. So instead of changing power on the wheel Cammus app, I think it is better to change it from here. So I think I will reduce it to 65 and see how it goes. And then we will update if needed. So let's restart and concentrate on the lap time. And after like 5 laps, I will look into the track guides and understand what they try to tell me, and I'll try to follow that.
Green
Wait,
light.
I am
The track temp
driving
is
on.
32. The air temp is 28 Celsius. Pit exit's clear. Push. Your brake temperatures are low. We need to get some heat into them.
Let's go a new lap. Okay, too fast for this turn.
Yellow flag. Green flag. You're clear of the incident.
I remember there is a hut on the left side where I have to start braking. I'm braking too late on some turns and too early on some. So here 100-meter walk.
Track limits. This lap will be deleted. Brake temperatures are okay. lap was at 1:38.60, was your best lap in this session. You're a second off your best in Sector 1.
Let's look at a track guide because I feel I'm not braking correctly. So let's exit. Let's look at the timing because I'm able to do it at 1 minute 38 seconds randomly. So I have to do 1 minute 32 seconds, which is way far ahead. So let's look at the quick track guide. So I think this one we can start with.
Depth Track Guide Series for a SETA course to improve, then please consider subscribing to the links are down in the description below at Zolder in Belgium. The track length is 2.49 miles, which equates to 4.01 kilometers and has, by my count, 14 corners. The track requires a high downforce setup with soft suspension to absorb the curves and bumps around the circuit, and then the key action areas for this track are turn 1, 2, 4, 5, turn 8, turn 12 and turn 13. And although it's very difficult to overtake around this circuit, these are going to be your best overtaking opportunities. Just like every other previous episode, we are going to start off by taking a look at the pit entry and exit, and this is the pit entry. You're going to start braking for the left-right that actually goes into the pit lane just before you get to the apex of the final corner, so do watch out for traffic who are taking the normal way around the track. And then the actual pit entry line to get your pit speed limiter on is just here at the start of the white building that is on the right-hand side just after the right-hander. Now when it comes to the end of the pit lane and disengaging that pit limiter, you're going to be doing it just after the marshal hut on the left hand side of the pit lane here. And then when we actually come to merge on onto the circuit, we're going to run between these two barriers. It is quite tight, you only really need to lift through here, you shouldn't need to brake. And then the actual pit lane actually merges on the right hand side of the circuit just before the entry to turn 2, so make sure to stay to the right of that white line. Now moving on to the actual track and all its corners, this is going to be our braking zone for turn 1. It is just after the 100-meter board on the left-hand side of the circuit. It's pretty difficult to spot, so look for the indentation in the barrier. We're going to be hard on the brakes and shifting down into either second or third gear, depending on the car that you are driving, and aiming to clip your apex just here on the inside curve. You don't want to take too much of this curve in the dry conditions, as it can bounce and unsettle the car and send it out wide. And then when it comes to driving in the wet, you'll want to take caution with this inside curve, but you should be fine to use it. From our apex, we're going to get hard on the power and track out wide to this smooth curve on the outside here with some painted tarmac just beyond it. Make full use of this curve in the dry conditions, obviously don't dip a wheel out onto the gravel, and in the wet conditions you'll probably want to be avoiding this curve pretty much entirely to avoid any wheel slip and traction loss. We're then going to pretty quickly bring the car over to the left-hand side of the circuit ready for turn 2. This is going to be our braking point just before we get to the hut on the left-hand side, just outside the circuit there. It's pretty difficult to see, but if you can spot it, it'll be a pretty good reference for this second corner, and our apex is going to be around about here, just after the green painted tarmac and the 3 little rumble strips. Here, this difficult to spot, so second or third gear depentation in the barrier. We're going to be hard on the brakes and shifting down difficult zone, just need to brake, and then the actual pit lane actually merges on the right hand side of the circuit just before the entry to turn 2, so make sure to stay to the right of that white line. Now moving on to the actual track and all its corners, this is going to be our braking zone for turn 1. It is just after the 100-meter board on the left-hand side of the circuit. It's pretty difficult to spot, so look for the indentation in the barrier. We're going to be hard on the brakes and shifting down into either second or third gear, depending on the car that you're in. We're going to be hard on the brakes and shifting down into either second or third gear, depending on... You don't want to take too much of this curb in the dry conditions, as you'll want to take... We're going to get hard tarmac, just the gravel. We'll side of the circuit ready for turn 2. This is going to be our braking. It's pretty difficult to see, but if you can spot it, it'll be a pretty good reference for the green. You can use this curb in. And then when it comes to the exit of turn 2, yes, there is an exit. Dry conditions are there, conditions will be follows. So we're going to be taking here, you'll be wanting to avoid this curb in the wet conditions because side curb around about here. You'll be wanting to avoid this. As mentioned, turn 3 pretty much immediately you wanting to avoid this. To catch the curb at the very end. In the wet conditions, do a 4, which is going to require an awful lot of commitment. It's going to be a very short braking zone that starts at the first slip road that comes out towards the circuit here on the left hand side. We're then just going to let the car float and roll through the corner, aiming to clip a fairly late apex just here after the green painted tarmac and those intermittent rumble strips on the inside. Do take caution with touching the curb in the dry conditions and avoid it in the wet. But we should be in third gear, tracking the car out wide as we come out through the exit, making use of the exit curb. We need to be careful not to dip a wheel out onto the gravel on the outside here. And as always, in the wet conditions, we'll be wanting to avoid the curb entirely, but maximizing our run off this corner circuit. So this is going to be our braking point for the first one. It's literally just hard shift order in, and we've got 2 pretty hefty curbs to contend with. On the inside of both are some pretty big baguette curbs, which you'll probably want to be avoiding in pretty much all cars, but some cars will take these curbs a little bit better than others and will allow you to straight line the chicane a little bit more. Being precise here in both the dry and wet conditions is going to be key, as taking too much of the inside pretty much entire, you're going to hack. Strip curb on the outside here that you see in the top, dropping down the other side of the corner. Don't worry about the chicane. There's no real reference other than maybe the red and white barrier starting on the left on feel of the track. If you can see it, hard and slow down into first or second gear depending on the cars. The dry, do be careful of that. But save your. You will need to lift slightly as you come into this corner, but it should be taking conditions and trying to out through the exit. We want to track out wide in the dry conditions to use this exit curve to maximize the acceleration coming off the corner and the chicane still. However, in the wet conditions, you'll be wanting to avoid this rumble strip pretty much entirely. Hanging to the left, we're going to open up turn 11 for ourselves. In the dry conditions, this corner should be completely flat out. You shouldn't need to lift if you get the line right. You can brush the inside curb as well in the dry. However, in the wet, you probably will need to lift, and you'll need to be careful of this inside curb. As you can see, there's quite a bit of camber, so that should help you through the turn. And then as you come out to the quite a bit, you will line right. You can brush the inside curb as well in the dry. However, in the wet, you probably a bit of onto the grass, as that will cost conditions. Right here, our braking point for turn 12. It's just as we get into the 100-meter board that we need to brake hard and shift down into first gear. We're then going to hook up a mid to late corner apex and check condition portion in the wet. Out here that we can use is a traction zone out here and subsequent curbs through the mini little chicane that is here in the wet conditions as well. We then come into the final 2 turns of the track here at Zolder. This is going to be our braking point. It is just past the 100-meter board, roundabout where the lamppost is there on the right hand side of the track. We're then going to shift the car down into first gear and try and take as much of this apex curve as we possibly can in both the dry and also the wet conditions. There are 2, and as we come through this corner, we want to hang towards the middle of the track before transitioning into the final turn, turn 14. There's 3 little baguette curves here on the inside, but once again, we want to be trying to take as much of the inside curve as we are coming out through the exit start finish in the wet. Let's piece together.
All right, so that was fair enough, and let's start again, and hopefully this time it should be better.
track temp is 32. The air temp is 28 Celsius. Your exit is clear. Watch the white line. Your brakes are cold. Take it easy. This lap won't count, you've cut the track. Brake temperatures look good. Sector 2 time is quick. That was at 138.58. Good lap. That's your quickest so far. Sector 2 and 3 are pretty good. Sector 1 is 0.8. Off your best. Sector 1 time's okay. Gonna violate this lap, track limits.
I'm losing time on chicanes, mostly because I'm braking either too late or too early.
The lap time was at 139.58. You're now...
Something happened to the telemetry, let's look at
Sector
it.
1 is quick. Sector 2 is yellow flag. Stay sharp. Track temp is 32, air temp is 29 Celsius. Pit exit's clear. Need to get some heat into these brakes. Yellow flag. The incident's clear. Green flag.
Let's aim for 1 minute 35 seconds for tonight. I have to fix the rig lifting issue where when I'm pressing at 100% brake, the riff leaks up instantly. So I have to put something underneath and lock it down in place.
Flag limits. Brake temps look good. That lap time was 1:37.44, good lap. That's your quickest today. Sector 1 is 2/10 off your best. Sector 2 time was good. You've just
136, which is a good start.
time was quick. Sector 1 time is good. Track limits, tell it validate this lap.
Something just happened to my brake, so I will stop this here and look at the telemetry. Now let's look at the telemetry and save
Watch your speed.
the So I was able to do 1 minute 36 seconds, and let's look at the timing. So here I have this 1 minute 36 second, which is the fastest, and nothing else. Almost all are the same. So I have to practice a lot more for Zolder to reach 1 minute 32 seconds. For those who are still watching this video and are not subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel, as your subscription keeps me motivated to make such content. Follow me on all the other social media platforms, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.